Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday's Market SITREP. Sorry about Monday's market outlook yesterday. A little bit of switchology error on YouTube's part. Very interesting phone call with them. Account was accidentally shut down, and when they realized how much money I spent with them, mysteriously things got turned back on. So two Twitter accounts have been blocked. A Facebook account has been blocked, and thought I was going to lose my YouTube. So pretty interesting, folks. If you want to know where the collusion is in this country, it's these limousine liberal tech companies and Democrats. Report from Judicial Watch yesterday that anywhere from 2.6 to 16 million votes were put in Hillary Clinton's camp by Google. And this was information turned over not by some raging partisan Republican or conservative, because not one of those type of people works at that company. And if they do, they have to be quiet. This was turned over by a Hillary Clinton supporter. You saw this on the media, right? This was breaking news yesterday that millions of votes. Of course you didn't. Anyway, good to be back. Folks, big headline in the Wall Street Journal last night, 7 o'clock. Kind of hanging out, doing my hanging out with the family, doing some homework, and doing my intel for tomorrow. And Trump is losing a trade war with China. The markets doubt tariffs will bring any major concessions from China, and the U.S. needs a multilateral approach. This is the Wall Street Journal, folks. This is the paper of record for Wall Street's conservatives, Republicans, and they're saying he's failing. And last week's capitulation, giving in on the September 1st tariffs, just looked awful. Right? I know the Chinese mentality. I know that it's like the Arab mentality, folks. With a radical Islamic Muslim, when you say, hey, man, can we just talk? They look at you and go, oh, yeah, that's super. Let's sit down and talk. And in their mind, you've already lost. They're in the process of grabbing their sword so they can slice your head off. That's what concessions means. I hate when people use this word. The war on drugs, the trade. These ain't wars, folks. Stop calling them this. A war means sacrifice. A war means you win at all costs. We're not. Right? The war on drugs, what an absolute ridiculous term. If it was truly a war on drug, you'd launch attacks against the countries who are exporting these things. We don't. If this was a war, a trade war with China, the president shouldn't care what the impact is on American consumers. He needs to give a fireside chat or a speech from the Oval Office that says, hey, man, we all need to share in some pain here so we win in the long term. He's not. He kissed Tim Cook's ass. At the Apple CEO, oh, God forbid, the iPhones, the overpriced iPhones he builds, which are built in China by 10-year-olds with, child labor, but who talks about that in the liberal media? This is bad. So the market being down a little bit today makes a little bit of sense, but this is bad, folks. The market's not going to hang out in here, and we're going lower, in my opinion. Nothing got better with China. China missiles could overwhelm U.S. military in Asia in hours, says the think tank. As I briefed to my members back in January, this isn't about a trade war. One of their admirals literally said that. He's like, what are you talking about, trade war? We could care less. This is about real war and our strategic dominance, not only in the region, but around the world. Right? And, here we go. The next big issue, no matter what happens in Hong Kong, folks, it's emboldens the mainland China to go after Taiwan. What are we doing? Military-industrial complex is making money, baby. Right? We're taking a look at sending F-16s. We've already approved $2.2 billion in M1 Abrams tanks and Stinger missiles. Now we're going to send them some F-16s. So not good stuff going on, right? China lashed out the other day at Taiwan because they said, hey, anybody in Hong Kong who's scared or yearns to be free, you can leave China and come live with us. Ooh, that didn't go over so well. And this was pretty smart. So last weekend with the airport riots and stuff like that, it looked like we were really going to come to a head. This weekend, completely peaceful, but a hell of a lot more people. 1 million, whatever it was, 1.7 million, just a lot of people this time, and it was completely peaceful. So I think the Chinese were almost hoping for some violence so they could use it as an excuse to crack down. They've called these people terrorists. But now, since it was peaceful, they're really backed into a corner here, folks. This is not good. Protest leaders reject Lam's, she's the CEO of Hong Kong latest olive branch after 1.7 million take to the streets. Whew. So Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam says government will initiate fact-finding and dialogue in wake of protests. That's that is a massive, massive olive branch to these protesters. I can't believe, technically not technically, she is part of China. Hong Kong's part of China. One country, two systems is what they promised. I'm shocked. This is about as far as I think they're going to go. But here's the problem when you start dealing with protesters. It's the same thing as dealing with the Chinese or Arabs. Once you give a little bit, they feel that they're winning and they have the momentum. So this is going, I just don't see this getting resolved peacefully. If it does, I'm happy. There are many times in my trading and my investing when I talk about things where I say, what? I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong, right? I don't want people to get hurt or, democracy to be snuffed out. I want to be wrong. But I just don't see Xi Jinping going, hey, man, it's cool that this happened in China. I'm sorry, in Hong Kong, and it'll be cool if it comes over here to the mainland. So this whole recession talk, folks, is a joke. It actually was leaked yesterday or late last night that a lot of Democrat talking points and strategy is to start making people believe we're in a recession or heading towards one to talk down the economy. Bill Maher, that piece of shit, liberal Democrat comedian, yeah, he's real funny. I want a recession so people suffer, so Trump doesn't get reelected. That's what Democrats are rooting. They're rooting for people to be in pain, and they're rooting for people to lose their jobs, for them to not be able to eat, for their families to be ruined, just because they hate Trump so much. If that's your party, folks, you got serious problems. Leave. So this whole talk of recession, ladies and gentlemen, is a farce. Barack Hussein Obama would have killed to have GDP numbers like this or jobs numbers. So the lowest African, Hispanic, you talk about any unemployment numbers, folks. The jobs market is on fire. The GDP is looking good. Earnings are fine, if not very, very good. Somebody tell me where's the recession talk coming from? Oh, MSNBC, CNN, you name it. Ain't no recession coming anytime soon, folks. Don't. And here's what's funny: the yield curve inverted last week, and you said it has a perfect track record of predicting a recession 2 years out. Okay, first of all, 2 years out. And second of all, stop trading off the left side of a chart, folks. It's stupid. This isn't 10 years ago. This isn't 15 years ago. This is today. We didn't have a Donald Trump. We weren't in the middle of a trade war. We didn't have a Federal Reserve doing all these type of things. So stop with the left side of the chart predicted these things. I don't care what the left side. Be present, man. Learn how to be mindful and in today. That means nothing that it predicted it 3 other times. Nobody's been in this market. I've never traded before in my entire life where I have to have an app that lets me know Donald Trump's tweets the second that he tweets them. Have you? No, of course you haven't. So we're kind of hanging out here. We're waiting for what? We're waiting for all the beautiful elites in Jackson Hole on Friday to get together, and we're ready for Jerome Powell to talk to us and make us feel really, really good. However, what was the headline that I showed you right here? Right here, there's a Wall Street Journal headline that said, vol is incredibly low right now, and there's a bunch of people shorting it, and they're really smart. And I said they are the dumbest people in the world. And then we talked about a VIX-explosion that was going to happen. Boom! I was right. They were wrong. People got wiped out. Now look what's going on. Traders bet on falling volatility as stocks rebound. Somebody tell me in here where stocks have rebounded. Right there. Well, how about there? Well, right there. Well, how about there? Folks, this isn't rebounded. Do not believe that headline, ladies and gentlemen. This is volatility. Look at this. This is worse than the May-June timeframe. Implosion, explosion, implosion, explosion. Explosion? No, folks. When I'm telling you, write this. Whenever you see a headline like this in the Wall Street Journal that says, "Hey, volatility is going to fall," and a lot of people are betting it's going to fall, get long volatility with both hands. Absolutely. The dumbest headline I've seen. I love these headlines because I print money on them. The last time we saw that headline, within 2 or 3 days, the VIX went, what was it? Well, let's take a look. This is comical. I love these headlines, folks. Whenever you see headlines like that, or here comes the retail investor, mom and pop traders are jumping in with right here, folks. I briefed you on this article the last time the Wall Street Journal said, hey, everything's great. People are shorting volatility. We went from essentially 11 or 12, doubled It went up 106%, the volatility index, in a matter of a couple days. Who predicted that? I did. And what was the indicator? The fact that, look at this, freak out, nothing, freak out, nothing, nothing. Seriously, did who listening to this webinar, this brief right now, thought that volatility was going to stay down here forever? You're insane, folks. And as I predicted, what's happening? I said not only is volatility going to spike, it's going to stay elevated, which it did. So if you're betting that volatility is going to implode here, you're an idiot. I will take the other side of that trade every time you take it. Not until we get some certainty on trade, Hong Kong. Look at around the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's a race to the bottom with interest, with rates, folks. Central banks are cutting like crazy. And this guy, I declared this a week ago, this dead a week ago. And Morgan Stanley, I like to see them a week behind me. The Trump put is dead. The Fed put might be dead too. Do not bet on Trump jawboning this market higher. He used to. He used to walk out to the helicopter and say, hey, everything's going to be great with trade. We'll figure it out. Huge deal. Nobody does deals better than me. Market would rally. Now, huge deal. Everything's going to be great. Actually, he didn't say that. Yesterday he said what? I'm all right. I don't think. Yeah, look at this. Now the Wall Street Journal is using it. A Trump put. I said those Trump puts are dead. And this market, he can't talk this market higher. So everybody's waiting until Friday to see what the heck's going to go on up there at at Jackson Hole. So all the beautiful people. Jerome Powell speaking at 10. Right here, 10 a.m. I'm going to be locked to that. So I'm bearish today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and then I think Jerome Powell says some soothing words, and then we're going to rip higher, and then we're going to implode. Stand by for more volatility. Just like what happened here. This was a sell on the news event, right? The Fed did what we expected they do, and the market imploded. If you didn't know that was going to happen, you need to be a member here. I told you that. I said the Fed rate cut is already in here, folks. He told us. He testified in front of the Senate and the House what he was going to do. And I said this rally in the market it's in. What he's going to do is in here. And he announced it, and it imploded. So for all the folks who are like, as soon as they cut, we're going higher. Oh yeah? A lot of people got wiped out. Do me a favor here, sign up for a test flight, folks, because we've been nailing this, and we've been having a lot of fun doing it. Nobody lets you trade off the left side of a chart, ladies and gentlemen. We try and forecast using our thinking brain, our strategic and operational mindsets, and then we get tactical to think about what the right side of the chart is going to look like, and then we place our trades. That's how you win. Not looking at the left side. I got to get going. Got a coaching call. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see everybody, all of my members at 1 o'clock for the primary live trade brief. God bless. And happy hunting. Make sure you